Welcome to the Friday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Friday morning. It is not Friday Eve. It is not Friday Junior. It is the real deal. The weekend is here, folks. No clickbait this time. Hey Astro, how's it going? That's right, it is a pre-Catterday. Yeah, we can also say it's pre-Catterday. That's a good one. We do have a few things to go through. Certainly it's going to be a more chill version of the stream, but... Hey, kitty cat. Certainly this is going to be a more chill version of the stream, but that doesn't mean we still don't have things to go through. This is a rare opportunity also for me to catch up on some of the stuff that I couldn't get to yesterday. Catterday Jr. Hey, Darknet. Loving the music? Thank you. If you enjoyed the music, please feel free to hit the subscribe button on my friend's YouTube channel. Let me see if we can actually get it. How do I, subscriptions. What if I just want a list of my subscriptions? Okay, here we are. Hey, Tendera, how's it going? I finally got my prescription glasses and I can't stop staring at stuff. Nice. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. We'll see if the cat decides to come out from under me, but... if she does, if she goes back to her little, her little bed, I'll set up the cat cam. If you enjoyed that music, please feel free to hit the subscribe button to my friend's YouTube channel. They have done a phenomenal job, and we're very gracious in allowing us to use this music, his beats. Since it was Friday, I may or may not have overslept, so without, no kidding, literally, I just woke up, I would say about 15 to 20, no, almost 30 minutes ago. Almost 30 minutes ago. My cat woke me up at 6 in the morning. It turns out that that's exactly the time that she needed food. Not when I wake up. Not the usual time. 6 in the morning. I got up, I gave her some food. Went back to sleep. My alarm woke me up, and I kind of just brushed it aside. I guess, that's when I was supposed to get up. And I just, like, threw my alarm, my phone, off to the side. And, then I woke up at, like, 8:45. I was like, oh, shoot. Today's, bonus day. It's a rare opportunity. So I got up and, made some coffee really quickly. And we made it. And now I've got a cat under my desk. Not sure how I would set up a cat cam under there. I automatically wake up at 8 no matter what. Yeah, I have, that's usually my schedule. Like, I have to wake up at 8 because, well, that's what I need to do, and that's what I need to do to get up, make sure everything's prepped and ready, coffee, stream, right? But Fridays is usually, like, a more leisure day, so I have that in the back of my head, so I don't, like, wake up as early, or I stay in bed. Hey, Kalo, how's it going? Good. Glad you made it. Normally, I wake up at 6ish. Oof, that's rough. That's rough. Today, I did wake up at 6ish, but not by choice. Not by choice. I like to have a morning before the day starts. Yeah, I kind of like, I kind of just like to lay in bed for a bit. I realize my chat is super delayed because it's on my phone. No problem. Sometimes I'm also, like a few seconds off too. So don't worry about it then, Daryl. I like to have a, yeah, exactly, Kal-El. Usually what I do is just kind of lay in bed for a bit. Hang out with Kitty. I figured today is a rare opportunity to stream, so to stream on Friday because I generally don't. But hey, let's take advantage of it. We've got a few things to go through, just a few things to play some catch up. I need to add cat. I used to have a cat jam effect on my stream. Let's see if I could bring that back. I used to have that. Left is best. Yeah, let me see if I can actually add that. How do I do this? Okay. Media source. Cat jam. I used to have like the legit like cat jam effect. Okay. Okay. Ah, there we are. Alright. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Sweet. Alright, I'm gonna keep this on the pocket. I knew I had it stored somewhere. I'm Boomer AF. I don't know what any of that is. They're cute emotes, okay? They're cute emotes. So here's the $1 million question, okay? Here's the $1 million question. Cat jam? Dog jam? Sorry, cat jam, dog dance, or rat jam? That's the question. That's the real question. Wait, do I have cat jam? I thought I had cat jam on, didn't I? Yeah, I do. Rat jam? What? I could have sworn I had, no? Boo. I think I only have cat jam in my thing. Ah, dog dance. Wait, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Okay, let's try it again. Ha! Okay. Cool. FDA has officially approved COVID vaccines for all adults. What? Like official? For, is that for like the other vaccines like Moderna? Because I know the Pfizer one, wasn't the Pfizer one approved already? People riot. Oh, nice. Well, that's news to me. That is news to me. This must have just happened either yesterday, and I wasn't seeing it. Oh no, just now. US expands COVID boosters to all adults. FDA authorizes coronavirus booster shots for all adults. Oh, I see, okay. FDA clears Moderna and Pfizer COVID vaccine booster shots for all US adults. Alright. Yeah, it's for the booster. It's for the booster. Even Fox had to report this. Yeah, you can't. Nice meme. Alright, so we've got... we'll start with that one. But first... What? Exploring why this nuclear fusion breakthrough matters. Huh. I get all kinds of, suggestions for my YouTube. From background music to kittens to all kinds of politics stuff, including Papela. Who is this? And why do I feel like I should never watch this channel? Young people are screwed. 1984. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. Let me see. There we go. Rant video. Young people are screwed. Oh, it's an MTG channel. Huh. I'm not going to even... Not even once. Don't you gotta wait like 8 months to get a booster? Yep. I just got my booster. Nice. Yeah, usually yeah, exactly. You'd want to wait about, I think, maximum 8 months. Per what I saw. Oh, I like this. Especially if you are in the vulnerable categories, if you are obviously 65 and over, if you're immunocompromised, if you are like a frontline like worker, like service workers, healthcare workers, anyone who works with elderly folks, kids, all of those folks should probably be prioritized, or should be in front of the line when it comes to trying to get boosters, because they would be more exposed. Man spends 30 years turning degraded land into massive forest. What? That's amazing. That's amazing. Good morning. How's it going, Silver Knight Dragon? Yeah, COVID cases are still going up. Which is, I think, a strong argument as to why people should be more inclined to take the vaccine if COVID cases rises, but most folks are vaccinated, chances are you're not going to end up in the hospital. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. This should only encourage people to get the vaccine. If COVID cases are on the rise, it stands to reason to take the vaccine. It stands to reason that you should probably take the vaccine because, well, you're not going to end up in the hospital, or it is very slim chance that you end up in the hospital, so on and so forth. You guys know the spiel. I got mine in April, so I get my booster in December. Yeah, I don't know. Depends, right? The 8 months, 6 months after the second shot, right? Yep. Hey, how's it going? Just wear your mask, guys, or I'll come and make you. That's right. That is right. That is right. Wear your mask, or I will come and make you. Yeah. Yeah, and just to be clear, all the people who are getting really messed up, ending up in ICUs, or dead are still overwhelmingly unvaccinated, like over 90% kind of deal, depending on the areas, but overwhelmingly unvaxxed. So it just makes sense, okay? It just makes sense. If you know that COVID cases are on the rise, if you know that there are several choices of vaccines that you can take, all free, all readily available, to prevent hospitalization, death, and the spread, please just it's the most easiest thing you could do in terms of preventative measures besides wearing a mask. Okay? plus wearing a mask, I should say. In Europe, the unvaccinated are getting fourth wave of COVID infections and lockdowns are starting. Jesus. If you got your second shot in April, get that booster now. Do I even need one? I'm healthy and 22. Generally speaking, I would actually just I don't know. I would defer. I would defer simply because the booster. Well, I mean, like you should, because the I don't want to say efficacy, but the I don't want to say the efficacy, but when you get a booster, it does help you bring back up to full strength to be able to stop transmissions, and it's free. It's free. You greatly reduce your risk of infection and transmission. Exactly. Thank you, misinformation. Exactly. Don't just think about yourself and help society. That's a great idea. Yeah, especially knowing that there are cases on the rise. All of this just makes sense. Okay, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. It's free. It's readily available, and it's just passed all the FDA approvals. I mean, what else do you need? All right, this has been one of the best technological vaccines that we've had. It's fine. As Conctor just said, just it helps society. Just do it, all right? It's not a big deal. Mission accomplished, guys. Yep. Be double secured. Exactly. I sound anti-vax. No. Anti-vax would the anti-vax argument would be but would just be to not get it. All right. If you're going to be visiting family for the holidays, I think about them too. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you have grandparents. Don't know any reason not to take a benefit when offered. Exactly. Right? Come on, you've all played video games, right? You've all played video games. If you have a piece of armor that gives you X% versus no armor, then you're gonna take it, right? Especially going into the holidays. That's actually a great point, Pat Rat. That's actually a great point. Especially going into the holidays. Especially in the colder seasons. I like to play on hard mode. Darknet only plays survival mode. The vaccine has saved millions of lives and stopped the vast numbers of hospitalizations. This is actually true. This is a very true statement. So yeah, TLDR, just it's not a big deal. All right, do it. My grandparents got their boosters last month. That's good. That's good. Especially elderly folks. This is interesting. Man spends 30 years turning degraded land into massive forest. That's amazing. Amazing. I gotta put this in my back pocket. Watch later.
We called him.
Alright, we gotta watch this.
He kind of thinks that Lionel is his mom. Anytime something scary happens...
I can't believe I question it because my state has the most new cases before the holidays. Yeah, like, especially, like, if you know that you're in a position, in a place where there's, like, a lot of cases on the rise and things like that, this only shows me that it's probably a really, 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 really good idea Because again, if cases are on the rise, and wouldn't you want the best thing to make sure you're out of the hospital, right? And to make sure you kind of keep us reduce infection and transmission. So yeah, of course, if you see cases on the rise, that's only an argument for it. Yeah, whatever you do, don't listen to Rand Paul. True. 100% true. Whatever you do, don't do the opposite of what Rand Paul says when it exactly.
We'll clean him and rub his head on him.
Oh, this is too cute.
We received the call from the South Florida SPCA. They told us
South
about
Florida?
this unique piglet and calf whom they had rescued and wanted to know if we had a place for them. But they let us know from the start that they came together. We were thrilled to be able to bring them to the sanctuary. They were a little bit hesitant at first to go out of the stall, but then they did, and they met some of their new friends, and that was when they started to relax. Lionel started to run around, do zoomies, and his happy kicks. Amos followed, and he ran after him, and they chased each other around. It was really nice to see them at ease.
No.
They genuinely
So
love
cute.
each other. There is this shared understanding that they have of one another. They both lost their families, so
Aww.
they chose one another to be their family. That is what
That's
keeps
incredible.
them together. The two of them have a very interesting dynamic. Amos
That's
obviously
adorable.
loves mud, and Lionel doesn't really understand the attraction, but he wants to be with his friend, so we'll follow along, and then they both come out with these adorable little mud socks.
You guys have matching mud socks.
Lionel loves hay pile. Amos isn't quite as convinced that it's all that interesting, but when Lionel goes and runs through the hay, Amos will follow. When we have two different species, they don't necessarily learn how to cow and pig in the normal way. Instead, they learn different things from each other. It's so heartwarming how animals are able to find love in the darkest situations. They were in cardboard boxes closed off,
Aww.
and they still managed to find each other in what must have felt hopeless. To see these two be able to love deeply as they do, it gives one hope.
That's adorable. That's adorable. I love it. I meant to watch Night yesterday, but so emotionally sensitive. It's so sad when they, yes, and it is yes, it is horrifying. It is horrifying to see when from some of the documentaries I've seen, like when they know, like cows are incredibly intelligent, and they know when they're going to the slaughterhouse, and it's incredibly hard. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those like documentaries. Oh my god. Truly some stuff that you have to be emotionally prepared for, mentally prepared for, because they know where they're going when they're being dragged away to the slaughterhouse. They know where they're going. Yeah, some rough stuff. Absolutely, they're emotionally sensitive. HR 5376, the BBB bill, has passed the House. Yes, I suspect that the Senate will now take it up and pass what seems to be the most watered down version of the BBB. Nonetheless, there are some good things about it, but I think that not enough. And you no longer have to feel go vegan, and you no longer have to feel guilty about it. True. I'm doing much better. I'm doing much better. I'm doing much better. I have reduced and have mostly been very good about it. It's a process, but especially with I think the easiest one to drop is meat. And by meat I mean like beef, like cow beef. Cow beef is and pork is like the easiest one to drop. Is the easiest one in the world to drop. Meatless Mondays are easy. Yeah, I tried to make sure that I think the overwhelming majority of my food, I try to get rid of anything when it comes to like dairy meats and stuff like that. The bill is an aberration of responsibility for putting the USA back in good and working order. Yeah, I mean, like, just to be clear. Oh, shit. Okay. Just to be clear, the Build Back Better plan as it stands isn't... It's not like the things that are in it aren't necessary. It's not that the things that are in it are not necessary. It's just so underwhelming. It's just so underwhelming that it's frustrating. Especially when it comes to the most crucial of elements of the original Build Back Better plan. The most crucial of elements that have been stripped because of what is a clear connection to special interests is just incredibly frustrating. My sister's vegan, so I basically eat plant-based because there's so much plant-based food here. Nice. Nice. That's actually pretty good. Plant-based. Oat milk for the win. I've already gotten rid of most milk. I actually don't. This is all soy milk. Soy milk with vanilla flavor. Trust me, vanilla soy milk with coffee is the only way to go. Also, Morningstar has been doing really good. Like hot dogs. You should check that out. There's also some very good nuggies that I eat that are plant-based. I think they're like soy nuggies. Learn how to cook tofu and lentils and you're good to go. Yeah, I've never actually tried tofu. I need to try that. BBB is boneless benefits. Yeah, there we go. Like, again, it's not that the things inside the BBB right now aren't necessary. It's just that they're woefully underwhelming despite all the things that they can do. Biden is transferring presidential powers to Harris. No indication of that's the case. Zero indication that that is the case. Unless somebody can corroborate that, I have no reason to believe that that is the case. Cashew milk and coffee is awesome too. It gives it a light, nutty smell. Nice. You know, I tried almond milk one day. I tried almond milk a while ago. Nah. I tried almond milk in my coffee a while ago, but nah, it's not the same. For me especially, I personally like soy milk in my coffee. But I'm open to trying cashew milk. There's like 20 different kinds of plant milk now. Yeah, for sure. My favorite is definitely soy. I am what you would call a soy boy. Almonds are killed in California, so nah. Yes, that's right. They are. The issue is the almond crops are incredibly water intensive, from my understanding. That being said, when I did try it, not good for coffee. Not good for coffee. It splits. It splits like oil on water. And when you mixed it in with the taste of coffee, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. I'm open to trying cashew milk. I like cashews. I eat cashews. I eat cashews as snacks. Cashews are a great snack, so I might be open to trying that as a milk. I'm addicted to vegan junk food though. Nice. You know, I also eat the Impossible Burger. Impossible Burger. I don't know. It's something to that effect. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Hey, Alio, how's it going? Guardian chicken nuggets are my favorite. I think the raised and rooted chicken nuggies are my favorite simply because they remind me of way back when I used to eat a lot of McDonald's as a kid. It reminds me of that. So yeah, it's Friday, 6-day schedule. Nah, just for today. I used Impossible Meat for the first time last week. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I tried the Impossible Burger. Pretty good. The other day I had it again. Portobello Burger. I don't know what that is. There are articles about Biden doing routine checkups and passing power during a colonoscopy today. It's not a big deal. It happens with most presidents. Oh, okay, I see. Oh my god. They made it seem like... Jesus Christ. Because, like, I've been watching the news headlines and there's nothing really much here. Mushrooms are good, too. Mushrooms are great great replacements. Mushrooms are great replacements for meat. USA Today and WUSA 9 have articles on it. I have a black bean burger recipe I use all the time with 3 ingredients. Huh. That's interesting. Actually, Tendera, if you want to share, maybe I should make a channel for these recipes. If you want to share, just join the Discord. Oh, portobello mushroom is the quote meat. Yeah. The mushrooms are great replacements to meat too. What have I missed? So far, nothing, my friend. You're good. So far, nothing. We've just been shooting the shit. There's a really good vegan cooking channel on Twitch. Maya Ruchan. They're playing... Okay. Hey, check that out, folks. Nice. Nice. So many media and people want Biden to quit. It's probably now Twitch is the green with political anger. No. Twitch's politics is... Twitch politics. Twitch politics. What can I even say? Very good. Very not toxic space, right? very good. Very not toxic. mashed black beans, tomato paste, nice. Any type of flour, nice. What? Republicans are holding up the Congress, specifically, well, I believe it was McCarthy who was out there on his soapbox. I did vote for Biden, so I like him. I voted for Biden because I didn't want Trump. I mean, that's it. Like, every choice that I had was basically harm, in my eyes, in my opinion, harm reduction. I think that's usually how I see things. Yeah. You can vote for someone you don't like, right, in the aspirations of reducing harm, because the alternative would then be another Trump presidency, which is also, I would argue, even more unacceptable, right? Despite my frustrations and despite my incredibly giga-triggered attitude towards the current administration, I think that a Trump administration would probably be worse, right? I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess it's yet to be seen whether or not we did whether or not this was the correct path, because, well, one could argue that at the time, of course, voting a Obama administration would be better than definitely a Romney administration, but arguably, hindsight is 2020. Down the line, it ended up causing more harm. I don't know if we'll see a repeat in history, but we have yet to see. McCarthy is out there arguing against childcare and truly beneficial things, and Republican voters are eating that shit up for no reason. Right, the party of family, folks. Remember? The party of family values to them. The party of family values, voting against child care, child tax credits, VPK. Yeah. Nice meme. Remember, folks, it's gaslight, obstruct, project. Did you see Bobert the other day? No. Did she do like a speech? Well, yeah, she must have, right? Is there a link? Party of workers. Yeah, party of workers. Yeah. All right, we've gotta sail through this. FDA clears Moderna and Pfizer's COVID vaccine booster shots for all U.S. adults. The FDA authorized Moderna and Pfizer's COVID booster shots for all adults on Friday, belatedly fulfilling a critical part of the Biden administration plan to administer extra doses to the general public, as growing data demonstrates the efficacy of vaccine wanes over time. The approval comes about 2 months late after scientists advising the FDA rejected the administration's original plan to start distributing boosters to all adults the week of September 20th, citing a lack of data supporting the third dose. The FDA acting commissioner, Janet Woodcock, also cleared the doses without the usual public meeting to review new data submitted by the companies in the last week. Moderna resubmitted its application just days ago. The companies announced a decision Friday morning. This emergency use authorization comes at a critical time as we enter the winter months and face increasing COVID case counts and hospitalizations across the country. Moderna CEO Stéphane Bancel said in a statement. Woodcock says the agency has acted swiftly to protect the public as the pandemic evolves. She said booster shots are the best way to keep people from ending up hospitalized or dying from COVID. The CDC still has to authorize distribution of the booster doses before people can start receiving the shots, which could start this weekend. The CDC's independent panel of vaccine experts is scheduled to meet Friday to review the new data and is expected to quickly approve the third doses. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky on Wednesday said the public health agency would act swiftly under the FDA after the FDA okays the shot. The FDA advisory panel originally met in September to consider recommending Pfizer's booster for the general public, but decided against doing so amid concerns that there wasn't enough data. They recommended a scaled-back distribution plan instead for the elderly and adults who faced higher risk from COVID. The CDC approved Pfizer's booster shots for the groups in September and Moderna and J&J recipients last month. The FDA has determined that currently available data support expanding the eligibility of single booster dose to Moderna and Pfizer vaccines to individuals of 18 years of age and older. So there you go. I skipped her speech because all the ones before her stressed me out. Come on. So TLDR, FDA is clearing the Moderna and Pfizer boosters for all 18 plus. Representative Lauren Boebert is facing a wave of backlash following a fiery, really? That's what you're gonna use? Floor speech she made Wednesday in defense of Representative Paul Gosar, of course, before he was censured by the House for posting an animated video on social media depicting himself roadblocking another member of Congress. During her remarks on the House floor, Boebert deflected attention from Gosar's video by referring to progressive Ilhan Omar as a member of what she called the Jihad Squad. Nice meme. Unbelievable. And accused Representative Eric Swalwell of sleeping with a Chinese spy. Is that like even like, I have a hard time believing anything any of these people say. Is that like a thing that happened? Republicans support large families for replenishment of uneducated workers to serve their needs for whatever they decide to give them out of the goodness of their hearts. True. Yeah, Boebert said it has to be true. Correct. The Jihad Squad members of Minnesota has paid her husband and not her brother husband. Like, is this another meme? Because I don't know if this was even ever proven. Jesus Christ. The other one, over $1 million in campaign funds. We still don't know if I don't even know if that's true. This member is allowed on the Foreign Affairs Committee while praising terrorists. What? Okay. Yikes. Let's crank up the xenophobia to like 12. Jesus Christ. My colleagues and 3-month presidential candidate from California who's on the Intelligence Committee slept with Fang Fang, a Chinese spy. Okay. Okay, now we're like... They have the videos? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Like, there isn't even like a filter. There isn't even like a mask. Like, I would say like this is mask off, but like, there wasn't one to begin with.
These are so pathetic and have done so... Democrat policies are so pathetic and have done so poorly that the left has nothing else to do but troll the internet looking for ways to get offended.
Gaslight, obstruct, and project. Isn't that what you guys are doing?
And then try to target members and strip them of their committees. This is a dumb waste of the House's time. But since the Speaker has designated the floor to discuss members' inappropriate actions, shall we? The Jihad Squad member from Minnesota.
Jesus Christ. And like, oh man, I don't know if she's like... The irony just goes over her head, right? The irony just goes right over her head. They're discussing inappropriate behavior by a member of Congress by being incredibly inappropriate. By being incredibly inappropriate. Incredibly inappropriate. Like, this is not how you speak to people, okay? Jesus Christ. Like I said, the xenophobia is like through the roof here. The Jihad Squad?
Minnesota has paid her husband, and not her brother husband, the other one, over $1 million in campaign funds. Democrat policies are so pathetic.
And of course, I imagine the roasting. Yikes. Yikes. She's such a Bobert. Lauren Boebert, everyone, a representative of our country. That wasn't even the full speech. Yeah, I see that. Please watch this 1 minute. Oh no, this isn't it. This is not it. Just the continuation of... Oh wait, is this it? Oh, this is another piece.
Violence in the streets outside of while praising her husband and not her brother. The speaker has designated the floor to discuss members' inappropriate action. The Jihad Squad member from Minnesota has paid her husband and not her brother husband, the other one, over $1 million in campaign funds. This
Still don't know
member
what
is
she's talking
allowed
about.
on the Foreign Affairs Committee while praising terrorists. A
Again,
Democrat
I have no idea what she's talking
incited
about.
further violence in the streets outside of a courthouse. And then the cherry on top. My colleague and 3-month presidential candidate from California, who is on the Intelligence Committee, slept with Fang Fang, a Chinese spy. Let me say that again. A member of Congress who receives classified briefings was sleeping with the enemy. This is unacceptable, and this would never be...
time's expired.
Shut up. Jesus Christ. Well, we know she's an opportunist. Yeah, that's true. Her campaign staff just got raided by the FBI. Holy yikes. Yeah, gish galloping. I watch C-SPAN all day. Yeah, this is for clips, of course, because here it is. And is it true that bills passed in the House do not have a time period when they must be taken through the Senate? I believe that's true. I believe the Senate has the option of taking it up or not taking it up, or tabling it, or just putting it in the back burner once it gets to the Senate. Holy yikes, Batman. This is Giga Cringe territory. But what else can you expect from Representative Boebert? Right, I'm just gonna say a bunch of wild shit with no receipts to back any of it up. Yeah, so like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, literally, I have no idea. She's just like talking, making up stuff. Weird. If I had done anything, Swalwell responded to her remarks in a tweet. Weird. If I had done anything wrong, the FBI would have raided my house. They didn't, and went as far as to issue a statement saying I did nothing wrong. He said in a reference to a reported FBI raid on the home of an ex-campaign manager of Boebert's in connection with leaking of election data. Ha. Luckily, my dad raised me right, otherwise I might have gone to the floor to talk about this insurrectionist who sleeps with a pervert. I'm grateful I was raised to be a decent human and not a deprived person who shamefully defecates and defiles the House of Representatives. Boebert's office did not immediately respond for a request for comment. What an absolute clown. They're Disney supervillains, yeah. Whenever you're watching any sort of committee hearing and can't figure out what the hell somebody's talking about, it's probably just for the clips, true. Do you think that she'll get held accountable for her campaign finance issues? No. No. It took universal condemnation, and again, the GOP had no inclination to reprimand Representative Gosar for his inappropriate actions. They're absolutely not going to, do anything with her. Remember, the consequences that are happening for Representative Gosar aren't because the GOP is trying to be, principled in any way, shape, or form. It's because the House, the Democratic-controlled House, is taking action to reprimand the inappropriate actions of Gosar. So I don't believe the GOP is gonna say anything to her. Republicans on the floor say random shit without backing it up and then follow up with some spineless theatrical remarks. Yeah, it seems to me like standard procedure, right? US states investigate Instagram for wreaking havoc on teens' mental health. A bipartisan coalition of US state attorneys have opened up an investigation into Facebook, or Meta, I guess, for promoting Instagram to children despite the company's own awareness of its potential harms. The investigation, which involves at least 8 states, comes as Facebook faces increasing scrutiny over its approach to children and young adults. Documents leaked by former employee turned whistleblower recently revealed the company's own internal research showing the platform negatively affected the mental health of teens, particularly regarding body image issues. No way. A company hides research because they're afraid that it might touch a penny on their profits? No way. No way. But who's watching? It's just for mainstream news outlets to cherry pick what they want. Yeah, exactly. It's for clips. Exactly. It's for clips. You mean a massive corporation is trying to hide research on what their products do in order to protect their profits? No way. That's never happened before. That's never happened before. The investigation will cover whether the company violated consumer protection laws and put young people at risk and will be led by a coalition of attorney generals from California, Florida, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Nebraska, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Vermont. For too long, Meta has ignored the havoc that Instagram is wreaking on the mental health and well-being of our children and teens, said California Attorney General Rob Bonta in an emailed statement. Enough is enough. We've undertaken this nationwide investigation to get answers about Meta's efforts to promote the use of the social media platform to young Californians and determine if, in doing so, Meta violated the law. Facebook, now known as Meta, did not immediately respond for a request to comment. In September, the company said it was pushing its plan for a version of Instagram designed for kids, amid growing opposition to the project. Yikes. Facebook has continued to face blowback over internal documents leaked by former employee Frances Haugen. In September, the company's global head of safety faced a grilling from US lawmakers about the impact of the company's products on children, and last month, a global alliance of child protection campaigners and experts sent a letter to Mark Zuckerberg urging him to share the company's research on the topic. Facebook said leaked documents have been used to paint a false picture of the company's work. In May, a group of more than 40 state attorney generals wrote to the company asking to abandon its plan for a kid-focused app. Alio with the 10 biddies, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Interesting. I think they should be sued for ruining the word meta. True. That's the real crime. Breaking news, the House Democrats on Friday passed their mammoth social spending and climate plan in 2020 to 2013 vote, securing a major victory for the party ahead of the Thanksgiving break, providing a boost to President Biden. At a tumultuous time for his administration, the vote came a half day later than scheduled. A delay caused by the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy. Yep, absolutely. We'll see what kind of effects this has on the Biden administration's approval rating. However, not gonna lie, I feel like this is going to be underwhelming. Again, I'm not against the things that are in it simply because, well, they're necessary. The things that have been included, it's not like they shouldn't be passed. However, I'm just scared that and frustrated that it's incredibly underwhelming, right? Some of the most important pieces of the plan were left out. And what's more aggravating is the important pieces that were left out were to appease special interest, right? That's really the crux of it all, right? The most crucial parts of the original Build Back Better plan were left out to appease special interests. More mainly, the fossil fuel industry took a massive W. The fossil fuel industry took a massive W. Thanks, President Manchin. You definitely gave their return on investment. I don't think it will help Biden's approval rating because it's not really helping us. It's like, I don't know what the scope of the effect is, but I suspect it may be underwhelming, or it won't be as out there in people's faces as something more aggressive as it was proposed originally, right? Sure, I think that working on infrastructure, increasing broadband, increasing social safety nets to little crumbs here and there are fine, and I'm sure it will affect real people, but I'm just worried that it's going to be underwhelming. That being said, apart from that, the climate initiatives, or lack thereof, aren't where they need to be. As Heat just pointed out, a better question would be, what didn't get gutted, right? Oil companies are happy. Oh yeah, they took a massive W. 100%. 100%. Oil companies took a massive W in this one. That being said, let's check it out. The House moved toward a vote on President Biden's social safety net and climate plan Friday morning after a key analysis said it would slightly add to the budget deficit over a decade. Following the release of the CBO estimate, House Democrats teed up a final vote, which happened. They intended to pass the bill Thursday night, but delayed the vote early Friday as House Minority Leader gave a rambling remarks in which he not only criticized the spending bill, but also most aspects of the Democratic-led government in Washington this year. He talked for more than 8 hours straight in a record-long House speech. Wow. A handful of conservative Democrats wanted to see the nonpartisan CBO's projection of how the Build Back Better Act would affect long-term deficit before they voted on the plan. The $1.7 trillion bill would increase the budget deficit by $367 billion over the years 2022 to 2031, according to the CBO. The top-line figure does not include estimates of revenue raised by the increased IRS enforcement of tax laws. The Treasury Department has contended the provision would generate another $400 billion and pay for the plan. The CBO estimated it would only lead to $127 billion more in net revenue, which would leave the bill's spending roughly about $250 billion short of being fully offset. That would put it approximately in line with the CBO's estimate deficit impact for the bipartisan infrastructure law Biden signed earlier this week with support of Republicans and conservative Democrats alike. The legislation aimed to make child care more affordable, extend the enhanced child tax credit for a year, create universal pre-K, speed up transition to green energy. Okay. And expand Medicare and Medicaid. At least one part of the House plan, 4 weeks of paid leave, for most Americans could get cut once the bill goes into the Senate. So they did add it there. Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good part. Part of the crumbs, particle of crumbs and 6,000 cookies for the military. Well, 700 and what, 80 billion to be exact? 780 billion cookies to be exact. At least one part of the plan includes the House plan for weeks of paid leave for the most part for most Americans could get cut once the bill goes to the Senate. Along with the bipartisan infrastructure law signed last week, the package makes up the core of Biden's economic agenda. Ahead of the vote Friday, House Speaker Pelosi cast the plan as a historic step for households. This to me sounds like the bare minimum to stabilize the economy. This seems more like a stabilizer than anything. And we're continuing to be in the same position where people are just treading water. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Correct. Do they account for the massive revenue generated by new infrastructure or disaster relief we will not have to pay out during that period? Not sure. Well, we, this Democratic Congress, are taking our place in the long and honorable heritage of our democracy with legislation that would be the pillar of health and finance security in America. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is overselling it. Overselling it. You know what would be a honorable heritage of democracy with robust legislation that would be the pillar of health and financial security in America? A universal healthcare system. Holy shit. This isn't really that hard. Jesus fucking Christ. Today, it's really awesome of you to stream today on your day off. It's not my day off, but I'm taking a extra time. I'm taking a extra stream day. I'm adding that one for this week because I could. It is unfortunately not a day off, not a complete day off. Wait. I guess you could say it is my stream day off. It is my stream day off. God, this is so triggering. The budget estimate assuaged the concerns of at least 2 of the 5 Democratic holdouts. Representative Stephanie Murphy of Florida, of course. Kurt Schrader of Oregon, at least 1 Democrat. Jared Golden of Maine will vote against the bill. Nice meme. Pelosi can only lose 3 votes to pass the legislation if Democratic leaders can prevent enough defections to pass the bill. It will mark a breakthrough for the party of months-long slag to pass what it views as transformational investments. Not sure if that's the name I would pick. For comparison, the CBO projected a bipartisan infrastructure backed by nearly all House Democrats and 13 Republicans would add $256 billion to deficits over a decade. The agency estimated 2017 Republican tax law signed by then President Trump, one of the last huge bills pushed through Congress, that was not an emergency coronavirus aid plan, would add nearly $1.5 trillion to the deficit in 10 years. Yeah, so when Republicans are in office and Republicans are about to pass like massive economic bills, it turns out that they have absolutely no problem. They have absolutely no problem adding 1.5 trillion to the deficit. But when Democrats are in office, all of a sudden, that is a huge concern to them. All of a sudden, the almighty pearls get clutched. They took the tax off tampons in Michigan. Nice. That's actually, that's good. That's awesome. Howdy, howdy. Yeah, so when Republicans are in office and decide to add 1.5 trillion to the deficit, no problem. Crickets. Crickets. All of this is a meme, by the way. If the House passes this week, the Senate aims to approve it before Christmas. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said if the Senate makes changes to the legislation, it would have to go back to the House for another vote. Jesus Christ. Tweaks in the Senate, which could include scrapping paid leave or revising a proposal to lift the cap on state and local tax deductions, could change the deficit by nearly tens of billions of dollars. Democrats have touted a previous estimate from a nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation projecting the bill would not add long-term budget estimates, but 5 Democrats, enough to sink the bill on their own in the House, said they want to see the CBO score as well before they back the legislation. Yeah, okie dokie. Anyways, TLDR, they decided to pass this one. That being said, it's not that these things aren't necessary. It's just that the most important parts were gutted. and something that would have been transformative, something that would have been a massive help to the American people, something that could have had a point. I'm not saying that it will, solve climate change, but it would put a point on the board in an attempt to steer us in the right direction. All got gutted. So, yeah. Nice meme. On the flip side, it's nice to see the hypocrisy from the Republican Party as they cry about the deficit while they add trillions to it.
This is a preview to say that during this whole video, this child decided to eat and go to the bathroom during the making of this video. Why do you do what you do? He doesn't want to explain himself. Hey y'all, it's Becky here from the Beckosphere, where we talk about climate news and solutions. You have entered a deep dive video where I talk about a complicated topic while sipping tea. A few days ago, President Biden signed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act into law. Today we're going to discuss what climate provisions are in that 1.2.
Are the progressives fighting? Really fighting now? I don't think we're fighting each other. I think most progressives are just pretty, like, giga-triggered because of the inarguably underwhelming situation that we found ourselves in when the Democratic Party could do better, right? But they don't. It seems to me that they don't want to. And it seems to me like, at least on the face of it, there are a handful of Democratic folks, especially in the Senate, who are being incredibly obstinate. That could be because they're tied to special interest, like President Joe Manchin. And it's causing something that we could, and it's preventing something that the Democratic Party has an absolute good opportunity right now. They have a good opportunity right now to do something good. They have an opportunity right now to be bold and to be transformative, as they tried to say. And we are met with meh. Oh no, not with each other. Yeah, the ones in DC. No, I don't. Well, the progressives attempted to hold out for a while, but once enough Republicans came over to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, it all kind of fell apart from what I understand.
$2 trillion infrastructure bill, and if it could really be considered a piece of climate legislation. Basically, the infrastructure bill helps address our C- infrastructure grade coming from the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Yeah, so again, this isn't like to say that we don't need these things. However, there are key things that are necessary, and we are coming across crossroads. We are coming to crossroads of what we can do when it comes to climate change. Like, this is it. This is the crossroads, because what we do or lack thereof determines the path for the future, right? Understand that the reason why I'm being so adamant and angry and frustrated is because, as I've pointed out multiple times, let's say the Democratic Party gets swept from the Senate and the House. Then that's 2 years of President Biden not being able to do anything, right? Pretty much. With the exception of some executive orders, I guess, but I don't know how far that's going to get. I don't know how far that's going to get. With the exception of executive orders, the last 2 years of the Biden administration is pretty much gone. It's useless. comes 2024. Chances are, because Republicans are successfully able to stall out the last 2 years of the Biden administration, it seems likely that, and of course the Democratic Party's incompetence and inability to read the room, they will select a terrible candidate, which more than likely will lose in 2024. Now what? We're 2024. We've got 4 years to deal with a Republican administration. That puts us at 2028 to have the next opportunity to flip things around, right? You see where the problem is right there? 2028. 2028. Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem?
Last year. The bill will allocate money over the next 5 years to physical infrastructure endeavors. It will all be paid for by tapping into unspent COVID relief aid and unemployment insurance some states have halted, and many other little places. So basically, no carbon or methane tax and no taking money from top polluters. Honestly, improving infrastructure in general will help build climate resilience. So there's $110 billion for roads, highways, and bridges. There's $25 billion for airport runways, gates, terminals, and taxiways, and $55 billion for water and wastewater infrastructure, including replacing lead pipes, which is indescribably overdue. There's also $66 billion for Amtrak to improve their Northeast corridor. Of course, public transportation is very important to help reduce our transportation emissions, as that sector is the most emitting sector in the US. And then there's pieces that are a little more obviously climate related, like $39 billion for expanding and improving public transportation and helping subnational governments buy low emissions or zero emissions vehicles, and the $65 billion to improve the reliability and resilience of the electrical grid and invest in carbon capture technology. These are spending parts that have climate emphases on them and could push towards electric vehicles and investment in carbon capture, though other parts could be huge for the climate too if utilized correctly. For example, if the electric grid was updated in a way that made it easier for clean energy generation to ramp up, that would be a big climate investment. And then there's things that are very obviously climate related spending, such as the $7.5 billion for electric vehicle charging stations, $5 billion to switch school buses to electric or hybrid, and $47 billion for climate resiliency efforts, which will help communities prepare for worsening floods, wildfires, and other extreme weather events. That last $47 billion makes
every worker should be paying minimum 60% of taxes of their income. Wrong. Climate legislation isn't going to go through because the world can't afford to tell fossil fuels to go after themselves yet. Once renewables can supply most of the energy needs, I'm sure it will happen eventually. The thing is, I'm convinced that it can. Or at least it should stand to reason that we can move a overwhelming majority of the electric needs can be done with renewables. I don't see why that can't be something that we can start laying down now. As well as we know, American politics is not progressive enough. That's right. But who controls it? Unfortunately, well, it depends. It depends. Fossil fuel industry has a massive role to play in this one. Thanks, ExxonMobil.
US history. But does that make it a climate bill?
No.
Well, critics mostly say no, that this is at best a down payment for climate change. Because while $47 billion sounds like a lot to us mere mortals, in reality it's nowhere near the amount that we would need to prepare for extreme weather events and sea level rise. To move facilities at risk of flooding, redirect roads and airport terminals, build seawalls, or move residents, reduce wildfire risk, etc., we will need hundreds of billions of dollars. But hey, this is a start. So now, if you would like to humor me, let's go a little more in depth into the bill, because I noticed that the numbers I said above did not add up to $1.2 trillion, which resulted in me actually looking at the physical legislation.
Nice.
And then eventually giving up on trying to find the rest of those numbers because they were frankly buried between way too much document.
Yikes.
So
that doesn't give me too much confidence.
On interesting bullet points that money is going to go to relating to the climate crisis that I found that I think aren't mentioned as much. So I'd like to look into those. So the first category I want to look at is surface transportation. Some interesting
I'll see you around. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. Itchy and
congestion
scratchy.
mitigation and air quality improvement, wildlife crossing safety, grants for charging and fueling infrastructure, reduction of truck emissions at port facilities, which means, according to the EPA, decreasing the average age of the fleet, reducing idle and creep time, participating in the EPA SmartWay program, considering complementary rail and marine operations, and designating truck routes to avoid at-risk populations. There's also a carbon reduction program, which is in the federal aid highway program and channels money into biking and pedestrian trails, transit, and other energy-efficient transportation to reduce transportation emissions. There's the congestion relief program. There is the promoting resilience operations for transformative, efficient, and cost-saving transportation program, also known as the PROTECT program, which provides grant money to improve transportation efficiency. There's the Healthy Streets program, which aims to tackle the urban heat inequity due to lack of vegetation or influx of concrete in poor communities. And then there's a bunch of studies, like the Disaster Relief Mobilization Study, a report on emerging alternative fuel vehicles and infrastructure, a non-highway recreational fuel study, a report on air quality improvements, a permeable pavement study to reduce flooding, the emergency relief projects, a study on reports of storm.
So this sounds to me like just like boomer mindset, where it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to do a little bit like here and there, and it's gonna be fine, right? It's gonna be fine. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah. So I had a little bit of seawall over here. Let's see, reduce a tiny bit during transportation, a little bit over here. Yeah, that's good. We're doing good. We'll call it the Protect Act. Yeah, it's like a juiced media video. Jesus Christ, literally.
Water best management practices, an invasive plant elimination program, and pollination-friendly practices on roadways and highways.
That being said, like, you know, again, these aren't like bad things, right? But Jesus Christ, can we focus on the root cause of the problem? That's like the frustration, another piece of the frustration about this, right? Like, it is very obvious you guys understand. It is very obvious that you guys understand that there is a massive problem here with climate change, right? Because you're claiming to attempt to address it. But your method of addressing it is what? Doing everything possible to avoid the root causes of the problem. That's what this looks like to me. Why are we doing studies on things we know we work, like permeable pavements and just feet dragging? It's like throwing a glass of water on a wildfire. Yeah. Or it's akin to like saying that we just need to rake leaves or something and it'll be fine.
Right away. The other category I want to cover is energy, which covers grid resilience, cybersecurity, clean energy technology and supply chains.
What does that mean?
Fuel and technology investments, data collection, energy efficiency buildings, methane reduction, abandoned mine land reclamation, wildfire management, ecosystem restoration,
that's also good.
Western water infrastructure,
what the fuck does Western water infrastructure mean?
So it is a very broad category. Now, you'll have access to my notes in the link below overall on these points that I found interesting, so I'm not going to go into all of the ones I found interesting, but here's a few from those subcategories. In the grid resilience, they included the development of technologies to enhance grid flexibility, maybe like the transformer in Mississippi that we talked about like 2 climate recaps ago, that can make it easier for clean energy generation to be added to the grid. They also include the demonstration of EV battery second life applications for grid storage, which I found really interesting. A very interesting concept, because I think it means that they're going to see if they can reuse EV batteries into long-term storage facilities, which is a cool idea. Similarly, for clean energy technology supply chains, they included starting a EV battery recycling and second life applications program to figure out how we can make it a closed loop system to reduce pressure on mining for new.
Again, fair. These aren't like bad things in and of themselves. These aren't bad things to do in and of themselves. They should just kind of be like standard procedure, I guess, right? However, again, it seems to me like they're doing everything but addressing the root causes of the problems, right? Implementing autonomous transportations will increase trucking ride efficiency. Hey, Samline the Kind Dragon. Reduce vehicular ownership and decrease the age of commercial fleets. Hey, thank you for the diamond. Of course. Yeah, no, again, Silver Knight Dragon. This isn't... Oh, I see a couple of the Dragon Squad. Again, this isn't, like, bad per se, right? It's not like we don't need to do these things. I'm just saying, it seems to me like they're doing everything they can to avoid, like, addressing the root causes of the problem. This is, like, the same thing that they're doing for, like, healthcare. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just give like subsidies, or like, yeah, we'll just give like increase. Again, it's not bad. It's actually good that Medicare's getting like, you know, increases, eyes, ears, and something else I forget. Eyeglasses, hearing aids, and dental care. Is great, but can we try to focus on getting a robust universal healthcare system on the board? I mean, that would be ideal, right? I mean, like, it's again, it's like doing everything they, like, for the most part, I think the only thing that they've done to improve healthcare is like give more subsidies or vouchers. To my knowledge, I think someone can fact check me on that. But like, again, it's everything to avoid the root cause of the problem is my frustration here. One of my many frustrations, I should say.
Resources. But that being said, they also did include utilizing different satellite and AI technologies to search for more raw minerals deposits needed to up the EV industry. The fuels and technology investments category is quite a lot. It includes carbon capture, utilization, storage, and transportation infrastructure, and also hydrogen research and development. But they don't specify for hydrogen whether or not they're only referring to green hydrogen or if they're also mistakenly referring to blue hydrogen.
Yikes.
You can look at one of my previous videos on why I consider that a mistake if they do. It includes nuclear energy infrastructure, which includes planning for micro and small modular nuclear reactors, and creates a civil nuclear credit program. And it also improves support for hydropower, such as production incentives, efficiency improvement incentives, and pumped storage hydropower, wind and solar integration, and system reliability initiatives. Hydropower is a complicated issue because it is only questionably clean and environmentally friendly, and yet it provides consistent energy and energy storage potential.
Was I wrong about hydropower?
So I'm honestly surprised to see that they seem to be encouraging new hydropower plants to be built.
Hydroelectric?
That's a whole other thing.
Is that my L to take?
The bill supports a lot of data collection surrounding energy production and storage as well. Some notable mentions include a study and report by the Secretary of Energy on job loss and impacts of consumer energy costs due to the revocation of the permit for the Keystone XL pipeline, and a study on the impact of forced
Oh,
labor in
hydro's bad
China
for
on the
fishies.
electric
Gotcha.
vehicle supply chain. So those are interesting study choices. The rest of the energy subcategories I mentioned a bit ago are about what you would expect. So again, I recommend checking a link out in the description section below to see all the bullet points that I found interesting. Which parts did you find the most interesting? Please go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. And in my next video, I'm going to break down COP26. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button below
that's gonna
and
be a good
ring the
video.
bell so you don't miss the next time I post. Until next time, remember to talk about the climate crisis every single day and to support your local news organizations.
True. True. I can't. That's probably going to be a very good video. Pumped hydro is awesome though. Gotcha. Okay, so I gotta be specific. Got to be specific. LFTR uses salt, right? No idea.
British Columbia has declared a state of emergency following disastrous flooding and mudslides as a result of the climate crisis. Now I'm going to show you some videos of the devastation, and I'll also get to later
Pumped
on
hydro is
why
like using
exactly
water as
this
a
is
battery
happening.
for wind and solar.
And
Nice.
Once again, it reminds us of how our political leaders across the board for decades have failed us. Starting with here, this highway that was just washed out in a mudslide in this flooding. This is the Coca-Cola Highway. It is completely snapped in two. So
Wow.
This is a quick clip here from Camille Karamali of Global News. Take a look at this insanity. Now, this is this is wild. And I'm going to show you later on, not only flooding, there was a massive fire in the middle of this flooding.
Jesus.
So first here, I'm going to show you where this highway is. So the Coca-Cola Highway is one of the main connectors here to the coast, to Vancouver, and it's now completely out of commission. Likely won't be fixed for months because of the amount of devastation and the fact that we're now getting into the winter months, making it tougher for crews to rebuild the highway. But a little more here. This is Transport Action Canada saying Via Rail services between Winnipeg and Vancouver are currently suspended due to severe weather in BC causing washouts. So by the way, there's multiple highways that were taken out, not just the Coca-Cola Highway. But they're saying here the highway fared even worse. This is from the BC Ministry of Transportation. And yeah, take a look at that. Now, there was a great reply to this.
I
that
wanted
wanna
to
share
watch
with
this
you.
video, but I forgot. Hey.
Something to keep in mind here. This is from Michael Coyle saying, if you get angry when climate protesters shut down a road during rush hour, you're going to hate climate change. So
That's a very
anytime
good point.
You may find
That is a very good point. Like, hey, you know what's you know what else is like a really big problem during rush hour? Not having a fucking highway. Yeah. That might be a bit of a problem.
yourself in a situation where maybe you're inconvenienced by protesters over climate change, keep this in mind. This is what they're trying to prevent from happening. Now, there's more footage here. This from Kyle Bryan, I believe, of I'm not sure if he works for CTV News, but this drone footage is from CTV News. Saying here, drone footage of Coca-Cola Highway heavily damaged or washed out in 5 separate locations. With winter setting in, there's no chance it will be fully open anytime soon. So I'm going to play this for you. There's no audio on this anyway, so I'll play this for you while I speak over it to give you a little more details before I get to why this is happening and also show you the fire that went on in the middle of all of this. So in a mudslide on Highway 99, 1 woman died, with 2 others still
No
missing.
idea what that means.
Hundreds had to be rescued from across the province. Thousands of people displaced from their homes. Thousands of farm animals have died as well in this flooding. The province's Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, Rob Fleming, called the unprecedented weather event the worst weather storm in a century. The washing out of rail lines and the closure of transportation routes is another blow to the province's supply chain, which will likely have an impact on the rest of the country as well. And in terms of the state of emergency, this means there is a limit now on travel on affected routes to essential services only to help rebuild the roads and get emergency crews to where they need to be.
Jesus Christ.
Also includes price controls on food and military help with security, evacuations, and the supply chain. And multiple highways remain closed with the hope that Highway 3 will open later this week. But again, as I said earlier, unlikely that you're going to see Coca-Cola Highway open, as the destruction clearly is tremendous.
Holy yikes.
During the winter months, as I said, it's tougher for these crews to get there and fix these roads. Now, let's get to why this is happening. So,
yeah. Dang it, Irked. It is Thursday. It is indeed Thursday. Stop it. Okay, there we go.
So this from the Toronto Star. One of the first things that happens when the temperature rises is the air can hold more water vapor. That water vapor is one of the major drivers of weather systems across the globe.
I thought Canada liked global warming because their land will be more habitable. It is Thursday Senior. I guess we could say it's Thursday Senior. Yeah, it's starting to look a lot like the day after tomorrow. Yeah. You know, the movie that everybody was sensationalizing, it turns out it's not really that too much far from the future. Did I make you think you had to start working? Oh no, I do have to work, just not now. I've got some time, alright? I've got some time. I had to check the date. Yeah, The Day After Tomorrow is a really good movie. That one kind of stayed with me too. But if you really want to be radicalized, I'm telling you, go find and watch Ferngully. Okay? Watch Ferngully.
Globe. As you put more water vapor in the atmosphere, you get, among other things, more intense storms. BC is in a feedback cycle of sorts. Climate change predicts more heat waves. Those heat waves cause dry air, droughts, and drier land, all of which combine to heat the atmosphere some more. That also creates ideal conditions for wildfires. And when those fires come, they strip a lot of vegetation from slow...
Here's the thing, though. Friday is my day off from streaming. But I decided to... I decided to fire it up today. I watched it, not radicalized, sorry. No, it totally radicalized me. At least it put me on that path, I should say. It definitely put me on that path.
When the winter rains come, themselves bolstered by increased uptake of water, without the vegetation to mitigate the impact, we get mudslides and rock slides. So BC is in this vicious cycle now, bolstered by the climate crisis, that I'm not really sure how they're going to get out of. I mean,
you decided to raise your blood pressure,
yeah. To be prevented. There had to have been real steps taken decades ago to prevent the serious impacts of climate change, the warming of the planet, that those steps were not taken. And now you're in a situation where these at-risk areas, like this part of BC, is likely going to be subject to this kind of thing on a very consistent basis, just because of the way
Ferngully made me into an ant cap.
The atmosphere and the dry land causing the wildfires and the heat waves. It's a giant mess that, again, I'm not really sure how they're going to get out of. Now, as was alluded to there, over the summer, 595 people were killed by heat in BC, and it's insane the amount of devastation that this province has faced just in the past year alone, with 3 major extreme weather events. From Greenpeace here, indeed, climate change fueled intense rainfall and catastrophic flooding in BC were both predictable and predicted. The Toronto Star, for example, ran a detailed piece in 2019 about the risks of climate-fueled rainfall and flooding could pose to BC. A 2016 report projecting climate change impacts for the Metro Vancouver region warned of stronger and more frequent extreme rainfall events, and that the largest increase in precipitation will occur in the fall season. So this was predicted. This is how you know. I mean, if there's no question anymore, I hope, for anybody watching this, but this is how you know that this is happening and it's the fault of humans, because this has been predicted. We know this stuff is coming, yet barely moving the dial on our response to the climate crisis, both in Canada but also across the world.
True.
Now, I want to play this for you as well. This is just to help personalize. You know, you see devastation like this, it's hard to really understand for some people how this may be impacting the lives of individuals. But here's an example. This from CBC News that discusses, or you're going to see a couple here discussing how their home was swept away in the river.
Jesus Christ.
It just started collapsing. The
That's
front
so
part
horrifying.
that faced the river, the floor went. So I entered the house stupidly, and I looked down the stairs, and all I could see was river, and it was flowing. And then a big crack. It went under. The river just took it under and gone. Within seconds.
All our stuff that we've gathered in 20 odd years, or some of our animals were in that house. It was devastating.
That's the sad
we
part.
were going to lose our
The poor
lives
animals.
trying to save our own property. And then it was like, we've lived through COVID, we've lived through the fires, and we'll live through this.
Hard to know what to say to that. This is just one of many stories from people all across the province that have been impacted by just this one extreme weather event, let alone
In a
many
few
others
years,
that
this will seem
occurred
like nothing,
before
right?
this. Now, let's
Yeah,
get to
my
this dealership
property.
fire.
Hey,
So I'm not-
you're alive, okay? That's about it. And more importantly, your poor animals, dude. Jesus Christ. We always had 4 seasons in Massachusetts. Now it seems to right from summer to winter and skips over fall. Well, it's part of it right there. But yeah, we'll see more and more things like this. As Darknet posted, this will not seem like anything. It'll just be the norm.
I'm not going to get too deep into the details here, but eventually it was put out. So according to officials, around 100 RVs out of 500 on the lot were on fire on Wednesday morning. Let's take a look at what that looked like. Here you got an image here, or video here from Amber Belzer. This is FRI-YAY RV just east of Coca-Cola Highway 1, burning as crews can't access the site because of the flooding. Just absolutely insane. Right in the middle of a flood. This is going on. Now, eventually, somehow fire crews did get to it and were able to put it out. You see here the destruction of the RVs on this lot. I'm sure one of many businesses that were impacted by this. And yeah, you know, anyone that tells you that we can't put too much into the climate crisis, we can't invest too much, we got to worry about whether it's, I don't know, inflation or something else. How about this? The amount of destruction that the climate crisis is causing can't be ignored. The longer we wait and put our response to this off, the more devastating these events are going to be.
Correct.
You know, these stories for me are hard to cover because this is such a major issue. I mean, this crisis alone, this event alone in BC, there were so many stories coming out of this that I couldn't even touch on in this video because, you know, I'd be here for an hour. But this is the kind of thing where it should be a reminder of both how our political leaders for decades have failed us,
True.
but also that there cannot be any limiting to our response here to the climate crisis. We have to do as much as possible now to mitigate the impact of this crisis and these extreme weather events going forward.
Correct. Basically, yeah, my take right there. Nature got revenge on those SUVs, true. God, that's so frustrating. But yeah, you know, I guess we should just put a little seawall over here. Just put some roads over here. We can, you know, just do a little over here and a little over there. Yeah, we're good. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. Cute animal video. Alright, let's do it. We're all effed. Sounds like it. Certainly sounds like it.
Straight at me.
You don't mess with Mother Nature.
So I was like, oh,
That's
maybe
right.
this fish is just coming looking to be fed or something. It's very unusual to have a wild animal approach you. He took us all over the reef. It was like he was actually leading us. He took
So
us
cute. It's a
down to
little
see a
dude.
eel. He took us
Aw.
over to see a sleeping turtle. I have close to 2,000 dives, and I've never had an experience like this. I just assumed it was a weird experience, but then a couple of weeks later, we went diving again, and there he was. My husband was like, there's no way that's the same fish. But Sunny has really unique markings. Sunny has a big yellow dot right on the center of his forehead. He's also slightly bigger than the other butterfly fish.
That's adorable.
And that was 2
Yeah,
years
it's a
ago.
little tour
He took over
guide.
60 dives, and he'll always come and say hello, and it's the cutest thing. I wave to him, and I also talk underwater. Crazy, I know. As soon as he sees the hand motion or the wave, he like gets excited and will come. I think he just likes the interaction. I can't explain why, but it seems like whenever I call to him, it's like he recognizes that it's me, and so he'll come and say hi. He shakes so much when he sees us. He looks like an excited puppy. Sunny has forever changed the way that I view fish. I had no idea that fish were capable of this kind of a relationship or even
Well, they're
recognizing
human.
people.
They're sentient beings. Like, I don't get it. Like, I know it's still amazing, and I know people get, like, fascinated, but, like, they're living creatures. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We need to ramp up portable concrete and metal printing technology to keep up with a lot of this rebuilding. Yeah. Among other things. Some fish are really smart, true. They're sentient beings.
I just love how he chooses to interact. I don't have to force it. I don't chase after him. I don't feed him. It's been one of the most unique encounters that I've ever had, and I've been diving 16 years. One day I was taking some friends out, and he was doing this weird little dance on the reef, and usually if I will go down to see what he's doing. So I'm down there and I'm looking, I'm like, I don't see anything. He's just right next to my hand, and I was like, what is this fish doing? And sure enough, there's a shell, and I hold it out, and he comes and looks at it. I'm like, am I crazy, or is this fish actually learning what I like and showing me the things that I'm looking for? I don't really believe in reincarnation, but I'm starting to, because I'm like, is this a long-lost best friend, a soulmate?
That's adorable.
I'm going to cherish every moment that I get with him, because I know it is special, and I may never have another Sunny.
Aww. That fish must have been like, you're a good human. Here, follow me.
We called him.
Oh, this one looks
She acted
good.
a lot like a cat. She was full of energy.
Yeah, fish are social creatures as long as you don't try to eat them, true.
I heard a thump outside
Aw.
and noticed that there was a squirrel. She had fallen from my tree. I took her inside, massaged her little chest, and she started coming to. After giving her the goat's milk, she perked up and she really started to move around. It took, I would say, about a week for her to really start becoming more like a squirrel. About a year and a half after having Fabio, we ended up getting her a nesting box to stay in the tree. And then we realized she was pregnant. Fabio stayed inside with her babies.
Her daughter Camille and I are very close.
She seemed to be more attached to me. She liked to jump on me. Camille and her brother ended up going to different trees.
Baby squirrels. What? That's it? I thought they were gonna give us the full story.
Wait before you scroll away.
This has to be in Florida.
Don't fight. Say nice. They all just wait for me every morning. They knew when I got up, they knew when I went outside, and they'd be waiting in a line. Started with the one on the patio. Hi, are you hungry? And I started feeding that one, then it started begging at the door, so I'd be sitting eating breakfast, and it'd be at the door just staring at me. Are you coming to see me? It was a surprise for all of us, and then they just kept calling more and more of their friends, and they just got comfortable.
Sean Carroll's Mindscape podcast. His guest was a conservationist, Sylvia Arrow. Is a fascinating listen. Nice.
Then I started feeding them outside. You're first. Okay, come and get it. Started with the worms. When my mother accidentally, she picked up worms for me, but they were too small for my bearded dragons. And I was like, well, let me see if these guys like it. And apparently they love it. And now that's all they want is worms.
I was trying to throw it at that one, but then a little one just came and got it.
Once they went outside and they saw there were worms, they all just started coming. Or when you'd walk out, they'd all scatter. But now anyone who comes over, even my dogs, they run to everybody. If you don't like lizards, then you're probably not going to come over.
So, if this is in Florida, these little guys are common curly tail lizards, I think, and
look like big worms.
they are invasive,
especially from
in this area.
lizards.
So I'm going to say that I would say, I don't know what the impact are, but I would say that doing this is preferable to them stealing resources from the native lizards who are on the sharp decline, particularly the green anole in South Florida. So yeah.
I mean, they're very smart. And just from things they do and things they seem to remember, they seem to be very smart little buggers.
I saved one of these little guys.
I really do think they communicate with each other, and they're like, oh, go to her. She'll just keep giving you food. I'm a sucker, apparently. I call them little dinosaurs.
But these are much bigger though, I think.
Funny the way they look at you. I just wonder what they're thinking, and then they turn their head and they look at you so curious. I always thought dinosaurs were so cool. Now it's like I have.
Yeah. These are the common curly tails
like I'm skipping
that are
around
here.
throwing worms out to all these curly tails in just my backyard, and I don't care because I love them.
Green anoles are cute, absolutely. Unfortunately, their population is severely decimated because of the invasive species like these guys and the brown common anole, I think, have like decimated the green anole population here, which is native. But I think that this is probably a good idea because you'd rather them eat, the food that you give them than instead of the food that belongs to the anoles. I don't know what the ecological impact would be.
Right here. Baby.
That's so impressive. They just like go right up to her finger. Alright, we did it. We did the cute animal video. They're wondering how long it will take before they can take you down. Yeah, they eat mostly bugs. How do you ethically take care of invasive species? I have no idea. Like, technically depending, you're supposed to humanely cull them, but I can't do it. As I've mentioned before, we have a massive green iguana, spiny iguana problem. They are wreaking havoc on not only the local animal on the local fauna, but they're also destroying native plant species. They destroy nesting areas for important birds. I can't do it. Alright folks, we're gonna take a small break before we finish our New York Times journal article that we've been covering for the last, I think, couple of days. We're going to conclude with this, so I'm gonna take a quick break. So there seems to be a live-action Cowboy Bebop on Netflix now. I have no idea. I've never watched a single episode of Cowboy Bebop. I do know it's popular, but I have no knowledge of it. If you can't, I'm sure there's tons of people who, yeah, I trust me. I know that I'm. You could probably call somebody. It's just that I can't do it. You know, I can't be the one who's gonna be yeah, just eliminate these guys. No, I've caught several baby iguanas. I've caught several baby iguanas on my peppers. I just move them and put them somewhere where they can't find the peppers again. I just put them away. Harold is in it. I wasn't into it, but not really an anime fan. Yeah, my knowledge of anime is very limited. Very, very limited. I've watched one anime. I've watched besides Dragon Ball Z, which was a classic for my childhood. The only anime I've watched from beginning to end because it was so short was Death Note. That's it. I looked up what Nicole is and it's, yeah, exactly, Thundera. Because they're not supposed to be there, but they've gone so out of control. They've gone so out of control that they're literally wreaking havoc on the local fauna and flora. That Florida Fish and Wildlife has recommended to basically they've given the green light to do so, but it's I would like to be in a situation where people just not release these iguanas or rehome them, but you know, that's just me. Because some of this part of the problem is irresponsible pet owners who have taken it upon themselves to just leave their iguanas out because they get too big or they're just not into it anymore. The same thing that caused the whole python problem, the South Florida python problem. People just let out their pythons, which caused massive problems. Just in a perfect world, people would just be responsible pet owners. That is part of the problem. I mean, some of it was due to, stowaways that have been here for a while, but yeah, massive pythons here in South Florida. Alright folks, quick break and we're gonna finish this. There are more tigers in Texas than in the wild? Yikes. I saw that another wildcat, a mountain lion version, was officially extinct not too long ago. Not good. Not Good. Yeah, say no to pet ownership and just befriend the local fauna. Yeah, there you go. Just create conditions, create ecological conditions that benefit the local flora and fauna. Yeah, that's a great idea. All my lizard friends that are outside, they're all my friends. Just like the lady in the video. Alright folks, quick break, and quick break, we'll be right back to finish this over here. I think we have enough time. BRB. Yeah, that's true. The whole concept of owning a living thing is weird, champ. Yeah. Yeah, like, the idea of owning is weird. Like, for example, I don't own my cat, right? Like, I don't own my cat. I'm more of a cat butler, right? Yeah, pythons own the Everglades now, pretty much. Unfortunately. Like, I don't consider myself a cat owner. I'm more of a cat butler. And the alternative is having the cat... well, she is, She was from outside. She was a street kitty that came to us. So the alternative would be her outside. Yeah, no. No, not good. Yeah, my dog needs his seizure and allergy meds every day. So yeah, you're a cat, you're a dog parent. There we go. Yeah, she's the one that owns you. Correct, I'm a cat butler. That's right. Professional cat butler. Alright, folks. I think we have enough time. So, as we were talking about yesterday, we had several stories of what the climate crisis means to farmers and the stress and how it threatens livelihoods, real people, livelihoods, and what people are forced to do to escape, or try to anyways. And of course, the dark side of what this can also trigger, right? This has angered many Mexican citizens who have begun to describe the migrants as economic parasites. Yikes. and questioned for an aid aimed at helping people cope with the drought in places where Jorge and Cortez come from. Those are the two stories we went over yesterday and the day before. These last couple of days. How dare AMLO give $30 million to El Salvador when we have no service here? Asked Javier Ovilla Estrada, a community group leader in the southern border town called Ciudad Hidalgo, referring to López Obrador's participation in a multi-billion-dollar development plan with Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Ovilla has become a strident defender of a new Mexico First movement, organizing thousands to march against immigrants. Months before the coronavirus spread, we met in the sterile dining room of a Chinese restaurant that he frequents in Ciudad Hidalgo, and he echoed the same anti-immigrant sentiments rising in the US and Europe. The migrants don't love this country, he said. He points to anti-immigrant Facebook groups spreading rumors that migrants stole ballots and rigged the Mexican presidential election. Wow, like, this is parallels. In parallel. They murder with impunity, remember? They're bringing drugs. The murders. Yeah, this is literally the same thing. They murder with impunity and run brothels. He's not the first to tell me that immigrants traffic in disease, which... Yikes. This is 1920s Germany. Kinda... We're approaching 1920s Germany kind of rhetoric. Holy yikes. Yeah, this was a lot darker than I thought. Jesus Christ. The Suchiate will soon be overwhelmed by Ebola. What? They should close the borders once and for all. If they don't, he warned, the country will sink further into lawlessness and conflict. We're going into the street to defend our homes and our families. One afternoon last summer, I sat on a black pleather couch in a borrowed airport security office at the Tapachula airfield to talk with Francisco Garduño Yañez, Mexico's new Commissioner of Immigration. Garduño has abruptly succeeded a man named Tonatiuh Guillén López, a strong proponent of more open borders, whom I'd been trying to reach for weeks to ask how Mexico had strayed so far from the mission he laid out for it. But in between, Trump had, as another senior government official told me, held a gun to Mexico's head, demanding a crackdown at the Guatemalan border under a threat of a 25% tariff on trade. Such a tax could break the back of Mexico's economy overnight, so López Obrador's government immediately agreed to dispatch a new militarized force to the border. He has resigned as a result 4 days before I hoped to meet him. Wow. Wow. Jesus Christ. It's very true that we are much closer to fascism than any left or center system. Yeah, I mean, like, again, this is exacerbated by climate change. History repeats itself. Is he white? I have no idea. This sounds like just like a Mexico dude, right? That's what he said. His name is Ovilla. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Garduño, cheerful man with short graying hair, a broad smile and ceaseless handshake, had been on the job for less than 36 hours. He had flown to Tapachula because another riot had broken out into the city. City's smaller fortified detention centers, and a starving Haitian refugee was filmed by crews there begging for help for her young son. For her and her young son, I wanted to know how it come to this, from signing an international humanitarian migrant bill of rights to a mother lying with her face pressed to the ground in a detention center begging for food. In space of a few months, he demurred, laying the blame at the feet of neoliberal economics, and said he had produced a poverty factory, which he said had produced a poverty factory with no regional development policies to address it. It was a system, capitalism itself, that had abandoned human beings, not Mexico's leaders. We didn't anticipate the globalization of the economy, the globalization of law would have such a devastating effect. It seemed telling that Garduño's previous role had been as Mexico's commissioner of federal prisons. Was this start of a new punitive Mexico? I asked him absolutely not, but Mexico is now pursuing a policy of containment, and he said rejecting the notion that his country was obligated to receive global migration. No policy, though, would be able to stop the forces, climate increasingly among them, that are pushing migrants from south to breach Mexico's borders, legally or illegally. So what happens when still more people, many millions more, float across the Suchiate River and land in Chiapas? Our model suggests that this is what is coming. Ben, between now and 2050, nearly 9 million migrants will head to Mexico's southern border, more than 300,000 of them because of climate change alone. Before leaving Mexico last summer, I went to Igualta, a small town, I can't pronounce that, west of Tapachula, that because it sat on the Bastia freight lane used by migrants, had a long way been a waypoint of Mexico's superhighway for Central Americans on their way north. Joining several local police officers that they had on patrol, I watched as our pickup truck's red and blue lights reflected in the barred windows of squat cinder block homes. 2 officers stood back, holding tight to the truck's roll bars, black combat boots firmly planted in the cargo bed as the driver, dodging many dogs, navigated the town's slender alleyways. The operations commander, a small, soft-spoken, bureaucratic type named Jose Rodriguez Mendez, sat in the front seat. I asked him if he thought Mexico could sustain the number of migrants who might soon come. He said Mexico would buckle. There's no money from the federal government, no staffing to address services, no housing, let alone shelter, no more goodwill. We couldn't do it. Rodriguez has already been tested when the first caravan of thousands of migrants reached Hualta in late 2018. Throngs of tired, destitute people, many of them carried children in their emaciated arms, packed Central Square and spilled down the city's street sides. Rodriguez and his wife went through the cupboards gathering corn, fried beans, tortillas, and collected clothing outgrown by their children, hauled all of it to a town center where church and civic groups had set up tents for bathrooms. But as the caravans continued, said his goodwill began to disintegrate. It's like inviting somebody to your place for dinner. You invite them once, twice, but will you invite them 6 times? When the 4th caravan of migrants approached last city, Rodriguez told me he stayed home. In the center of town, the truck lurched to a stop amid a busy market where stalls sell vegetables and toys under blue light filtered through plastic tarps overhead. A short way, 5 men sheltered from the searing heat under the shade of metal awning on the platform of a crumbling railway station, now never repaired after Hurricane San 14 years earlier. Rodriguez peppered the group, 2 from Honduras, 3 from Guatemala, with questions. Together they had suffered a totality of misfortune that Central America offers: muggings, gang extortions, and environmental disaster. Either they couldn't grow food, or the drought made it too expensive to buy. I got big fascist vibes as soon as I heard the word parasites, yeah? I mean, that's literally, that's some serious 1920s Germany shit. That's some serious Nazi shit. We can't stand the hunger, said one Honduran farmer. Jorge Reyes, his gaunt face dripping with sweat. His feet was a gift from a shop. At his feet was a gift from a shopkeeper, a plastic bag filled with a cut of raw meat, pooled in his own blood, flies circling around it in the heat. Reyes had nowhere to cook it. If we were going to die anyways, might as well die trying to get to the US. Right, which again, this is the whole crux of it, right? These people aren't just picking up and going because like, oh yeah, I just want to make a field trip to the US. No, this is literally last resort type shit. Reyes had made his decision, like Jorge Cortez and millions of others, that he was going to the US. The next choice, how to respond and prepare for migrants, ultimately falls to America's elected leaders, which we saw how that went out, how that's been panning out. Over the course of 2019, El Paso, Texas had endured a crush of people at its borders crossing, peaking at more than 4,000 migrants in a single day, as the same caravans of Central Americans that had worn out their welcome in Tapachula made their way here. It put El Paso in a delicate spot caught between the forces of politically charged anti-immigrant federal policy, had its own deep roots as a diverse, largely Hispanic city whose identity was virtually inextricable from its close ties to Mexico. The surge through those stretched the city's capacity. When the migrants arrived, city officials argued over who should pay the tab for emergency services, aid, and housing. In the end, crossed their fingers and hoped the city active private charities would figure it out. Church groups that rented thousands of hotel rooms across the city, delivered food, offering counseling, and so on. Okay, so I think that basically, yeah, this is just more continuation of the same because we do have to get going. But I think that the point is very well illustrated throughout this article of what could of what consequences climate change has for us, right? I think this is a very illustrative of what the consequences of climate change are. I mean, it is quite dark. It is quite dark to hear, you know, to hear language like that, to hear language like parasites, is deeply disturbing and something that should motivate us to seriously deal with this. We must solve climate change. We must cut our emissions. We must do everything possible with whatever time we have left, within the tools that we have, to address climate change. I mean, right, nobody wants to live like this. They're obviously fleeing something much worse, correct? And sorry, but climate change is a piece of it. And to illustrate what dark path we can land up, ecofascism is a path that we might land on. So this entire America First movement, Mexico First movement, which is bizarre, like it's in Bizarro world, to me, is something really dark. And something to something to take into consideration, right? We should probably do everything we can to address climate change. That being said, folks, thank you guys so much for joining. Please don't forget to hit the follow button. Please don't forget to join us on the YouTubes, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that awesome stuff. Join us on the Discord to keep up with the channel. I appreciate you guys being here. Health Canada approved the Pfizer vaccine. Nice. Please make sure you hit the follow button. You get emotes and all that awesome stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Darknet. Appreciate it. As always, folks, thank you so much for your support. Pretty heavy stuff. Make sure, please, folks, spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Thank you, have a good one. You have a good one. Hang tight, folks. Hang tight. Heavy stuff, folks. Heavy stuff. You have a good day. Alright, folks, let's head on over to Anna the Nugget for chill vibes. I think that's well deserved. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.